Hey everybody, how's it going? So today we've got something a little bit different to talk about. I'm sure you've seen, heard, or wanted a baritone guitar. I wanted a baritone guitar too. In fact, I still do. They're really cool because you can play a lot lower than you normally would without quite being a bass guitar. They're usually about 30 inches in scale length, so they're a bit longer, and you use, bigger strings. But I wondered, what if you tuned a Gibson or Epiphone scale length guitar, like this ESP, down to B standard? A baritone guitar is usually tuned to B standard, so normally you go E, A, D, G, B, E on your strings. On a baritone guitar, it basically starts with a B on the low and B on the high, and then it goes B, E, and it's basically the bottom 5 strings of your guitar, except for G, that's F sharp. So it's all lower. An open E becomes a B. Your E is on the 5th fret. And it just gives you a lot of opportunities to do different things. And no, it's not just for metal or gent. You can do other stuff with it too. So I wanted to do an experiment today using this guitar. This is the ESP EC10 that we reviewed. Highly recommend this guitar. It's a fantastic guitar. Right now it's tuned to E. And typically what you'll hear is, well, you need to increase your string size if you're going to try to tune much lower on a normal scale length guitar. The reason being the tension from the strings is going to be considerably less the lower you tune the strings. So if it's set up for 10s, like this one is, and you tune it down to B, for example, all of a sudden all this tension is just gone. And then the neck's gonna say, hey, there's nothing pulling me up, so I'm gonna sag way back. So there could be some problems with that. So typically, it'll be suggested that you should go up a string gauge or 2. So what we're going to do is first, we're going to tune this down to B standard using regular 10s, but I'm not going to leave it that way no matter what the results are, because I want to maintain the proper tension on the neck to pull the neck up. So we are going to install 12s, and we're going to tune it to B standard again, and we're going to see, is it usable? Do you really need a baritone guitar? Well, let's find out. Alright, so we've got the 10s tuned down to B standard. And one thing that I noticed right away is that the strings, like while I was tuning it and trying to check, the intonation is going to be totally wrong, by the way, because we've changed the tuning. But when you just apply any pressure to the string, it goes completely nuts. Check this out. Check it out again. If I apply the normal amount of pressure that I would to this, it goes really sharp. But it sounds really cool. So you can kind of see the appeal of that. But I gotta tell you, I'm playing this like a baby. Like I can barely fret the notes, or it goes so sharp, it's almost like a whole note sharp. Like check it out, if I play this at like a normal pressure on the strings. It sounds awful because the strings are so small and tension is so loose. If I play really light though, it's just like really hard to play like that. So we are going to put some of these strings on. Slinky, Ernie Ball, Cobalt, 12 gauge. So I've used these on one other guitar once. When we did the Squire Mini video, we put some of these on that. These supposedly have higher output and clarity. I don't know if that's true or not. That's the marketing for it anyway. Even on the back, high output. So if it does in fact work that way, that's good, because when you tune down a guitar, and you may have even noticed this yourself if you're doing like drop D or whatever, if you tune down a guitar, it gets really muddy on the lower notes. So if you have something that can boost some treble, maybe like these strings, I don't know, probably better off boosting the treble on your amp. But anyway, I digress. I'm going to go ahead and put those on this guitar now, and we're going to tune it back down to B standard using the 12s. See if it sounds any better than this. And like I said, it's irrelevant. I would never suggest tuning a guitar down to B standard with regular strings on it anyway. So let's try that out and see how it goes. All right, so here we go. I put the cobalts on. I haven't cut the string ends off yet. I put the cobalts on the ESP LTD EC10. It's in B standard. I can tell you right away that the tension feels very similar to 10s strung and tuned to E standard. So as far as feel, it feels about the same, but how does it sound? That's what's important, and I have not heard this, so I don't really know what to expect. So I've got the amp turned on to a overdriven setting, and so to get clean, instead of switching or whatever, I'm just gonna roll the volume back. So let's see what we get. So right now I've got it on the neck pickup, and I'm gonna start just kind of with the volume rolled back to make it a little bit cleaner. And that sounds really good. I love the way that sounds. Let's flip it to the bridge. Again, that just sounds really good. So let's turn it up all the way. So we're going to get a lot of gain and distortion now. I'm just going to kind of see what I can do. That's just unbelievable. Put it back up to the neck. Try something else here. So it's really cool because E is B, as you know. A is E. So the cool thing about that is when you're playing in E, you get extra notes down here that you don't normally have. This is just awesome. I love the way this sounds. It doesn't feel wrong, if you know what I mean. It feels really, really good. It sounds really, really good. Like, I'm not rushing to buy a baritone guitar right now after this experience. So I've played a lot of like metal and doom based kind of stuff, but the cool thing is you can play some bluesy stuff too. I mean, you don't have to only play metal or thrash when you're tuned down this low, and blues can sound really cool. This is a winner for sure. Well, let's start with how it feels. It feels very, very similar to stringing 10s. So I put 12s and tuned it down to B standard. Very similar to 10s, but it kind of feels like 8s or 9s though. Strung, and tuned to regular pitch. What I mean by that is, it's still a little bit slinky. I noticed like up here, it's like you can bend forever if you're not careful, so you gotta have control. But as long as you have control, it feels like you're cheating, honestly. I love the fact that, and this goes for really all baritone guitars, I guess, unlocking this extra stuff down on this end toward the headstock. Having those extra notes is just a really, really cool thing to have. If you're writing music, or even if you're playing in a band, like we play Hard to Handle. I mean, normally that's played way up here, right? You can do so much. I mean, normally you're used to hearing B a certain way, and hearing it so low. And all of us have heard it before, right? We've heard it. Black Sabbath has done it. Metallica has done it. Megadeth has done it. I mean, you name a metal or a thrash band and they've done it. They still do it, and they'll always do it. But I think what this really opens up for you as a guitar player and as a songwriter is thinking about things. Normally when we write songs, we default to certain things, Keys of E and A are very easy songs to write. It comes to mind when you're riffing on the guitar trying to write something new. But basically changing the tuning of your guitar, and it's not just in B standard, it's really in any tuning that's alternate. It makes you hear and play and write and think of things that are a little bit different than you normally would. And it really adds that extra exotic element to your songs. I would say, kind of to answer the question of this video, do you need a baritone guitar? Can you just use a regular guitar like this? Yes, you can. If you want to buy a baritone, do it. I mean, those are made for that purpose. They have a longer scale length. They're meant to do that. They're probably going to sound better. They may feel better too. But do you need one? No, you don't. This is a Gibson scale length, 24.75 inches. I put 12s on it, and it works great. You go to a longer scale length, like a Fender, 25.5, you could probably get away with 11s and do the same thing. So go ahead, string up your Squire with a gauge or two higher than you normally would use, tune it down to B standard, and have a great time. It's so much fun to play this way. It feels different. It puts you in a different kind of a mood, and it's just great. It unlocks all those tonal capabilities of a baritone guitar without having to buy one, without having to buy a 7-string. And knowing that home base is right here at your 5th fret if you wanted to play normal stuff, you know, really all you're losing is what's down here. Now this guitar's got 24 frets, so it doesn't have as much of a problem with that. But yeah, so there you go. Can you use a regular guitar as a baritone guitar? Yes, you can, and you should if you don't want to buy one. Well, thank you very much for going on this adventure and going through this experiment with me. I very much appreciate it. If you want to buy the ESP EC10, this is a very good guitar, by the way. I love it. You can buy one with the link in the description. It'll help the channel. Also, if you want to sign up for Fender guitar lessons, Fender Play, you get 14 days for free using my link. Buy anything from the Fender shop using my link as well. Those things will both help the channel. Please make sure to follow us on social media. If you like this video, please subscribe, please like, leave a comment. I'd love to talk to you. Join the Discord if you want to discuss guitar, gear, etc. Thank you very much. I very much appreciate you. Have a good one, and keep on rocking.